advancing now. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, over the Easter period, it's tradition in South Africa to have Easter games where we celebrate the game of football and other sporting codes. And out in Harrismith, it was no different. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Mr. Mosebetsi Dhladhla, organizer, of course, of the Harrismith Games. Thank you so much for your time, Baba. Let's talk about the Harrismith Easter tournament, how it starts, and the thinking behind it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on studio. Well, how does it start? It starts as a passion that one has had growing up in an underdeveloped area. In Harrismith? In Harrismith. Yes. Played in the same field when there was nothing. There was no poles, there was nothing. It was just a gravel, rough patch. Yeah. So that's the inspiration. Football brought discipline and order into my life. And most probably with God's favor, I was gifted academically. Yeah. And at some point I left it, went to university, pursued a qualification as an environmental scientist and later on qualifications in business. But the football never left because that's the one thing you knew. I was fortunate that the township I came from, it's a mix and balance of different population groups. So we would play a bit of tennis, and later on when you're in business, you play a bit of cricket, you play a little bit of golf. So overall, I've been a sport person. When I was in university, I was the SRC for sport. So sport has been part of me. I think later on, as one began to understand the transformation laws now in business, was that my companies had to do a contribution for socio-economic development. Now you could simply do it as CSI and send money and say I spend money. Yeah. It doesn't really make an impact. No. So over time, when every December, we black people, we go back to the township. And when you're there, you then realize your friends say, hey, because the township is that you can play sports, but if you didn't really make it, you only make it with the education. So the guys that did not really get to be fortunate like us with education, it means they're stuck there. Yeah. Then the part for me was simply try and do structured socio-economic development programs and include sport.
In the interest of time, I was going to ask the teams involved, the sporting codes involved. Tell us more about that.
So where we started, it's simply the sports that everyone plays. It's football, but I've always been clear, you cannot develop football alone. Yeah. So we included netball, we've included volleyball, basketball, as well as tennis. So these are the first 5 sporting codes we focused on.
Now, the response from the community, I believe it's your second year now, and also how Mosebetsi is helping aid you in your mission statement, so to speak.
The mere fact that we're here, it's all because of Mosebetsi. Yes. So we could still remain a small town doing something like most small towns in the country do. Yeah. But I think the partnership with Mosebetsi is allowing us the platform to show and probably encourage other communities to lift the whole aspect up and try to create a localized sports economy. Yeah. So the intention for what we've done now as a foundation is a localized sports economy.
Now, we spoke a little bit earlier. You were speaking about also developing skills in the area through your Easter tournament. Talk to me more about that.
So one of the first things that I think even with the local organizing committee I worked on was to simply say, you first need to develop administration skills. So for any sustenance of any program, for the sustainability of what we are doing, we need to develop a clear administration process. So we are lucky to have a team of 12 youngsters, people younger than 40, who are working and participating in this, and they get to be paid stipends from our foundation. And then from then, the second layer is you need to develop the owners of the teams. You must then develop the coaches of the teams. You must then develop the referees and the umpires. Then lastly, which is what everyone tends to try and focus on, the players. I believe if you approach it in that way, you provide more structure to the long-term sustainability. Because the players tend to graduate like myself. I played, but when I was 17, I went to varsity. Then sports was a secondary.
Yeah, same with me, growing up so, and same with very many others throughout South Africa, of course, that move on beyond the game of football. But nice to see, a gentleman who goes back to his community and develops more than just the football through a football tournament, of course. Mr. Dhladhla, thank you so much for your time, and long may your success continue out in Harrismith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.